Cyberpunk 2077 is an amazing game and an experience, but it wasn't always like that. Let's go back in time. A little bit more. A Polish game developer drops a game called Witcher 3: The Wild Hunt. As we all know, this game is beloved by many people. People who enjoyed the game wonder what will CD Projekt Red make next. After a little bit of researching, they're able to find a title reveal for a game called and a teaser for the said title. Other than that, there's an interview with the living legend Mike Pondsmith.
And that's really great.
The man that created the Cyberpunk universe. In said interview, Pondsmith explains a bit about Cyberpunk and also says that CDPR will stay true to the source material. Potential fans had to wait 3 more years since the official trailer dropped in 2018 at E3.
In 2077, they voted my city the worst place to live in America. Main issues? Sky-high rate of violence, and more people living below the poverty line than anywhere else. Can't deny it, it's all true. But everybody still wants to live here. This city's always got a promise for you. Might be a lie, an illusion, but it's there, just around the corner, and it keeps you going.
With the gameplay review, which didn't look exactly as the game, but we will get to that soon. So the fans waited, and a year after that, CDPR has shown us another trailer, which ends with showing the audience John Wick from Fortnite.
Wake the fuck up, samurai. We have a city to burn.
Seconds after that, the man himself, Keanu Reeves, went on scene to hype up the game.
How's it going? You're breathtaking.
And show the release date, which was
Check this out.
April 20th, 2020. During said E3, we also got an interview with CD Projekt Red's co-founder, Marcin Iwiński. Other than him looking worse with every single game release, he tells the audience that Keanu will play an important character and talks about CDPR as a company. The reception is great, so the fans wait for the game. During said wait, CDPR drops a deep dive video showing Pacifica.
You set me up!
As you can see, we have many possible options,
which is a games district, and when the date nears April, CDPR drops an announcement on their Twitter saying that the game release is rescheduled for 17th of September. After that, CDPR tried to appease fans a little bit with Keanu dropping hard lines.
Welcome to Get City. Willing to become Get.
And talking about bikes. Oh, also, other than that, we got a cool trailer for the first act.
Ready to get your cherry popped? Yeah, come on!
Fans got a little annoyed, but few months for a more polished game might be worth it. CD Projekt had a different plan.
I got a plan, John.
You always got a plan, Dutch.
This is a good one.
Since they moved the date again to November 19th.
Oh, hell no! That's hell no!
And after waiting till November, it was moved again to 10th of December. The fans were furious because of the constant release date changes. That created a meme, and some game developers caught onto that too. Nonetheless, the game was released in December. And how was it?
Check this out.
Okay, so a few bucks here and there. What about the reviews?
I've seen some truly psychotic claims that the driving in this is on par with Grand Theft Auto 5. The people saying this should seek medical attention because something has happened to their brains.
And that's not how we should accept our games at release.
I'm just super freaking disappointed with you.
CD Projekt Red.
Oh, so it is bad. It's so bad that the game got pulled off the stores like PlayStation Store, and the co-founder decided to step in and make an apology video.
I and the entire leadership team are deeply sorry for this, and this video is me publicly owning up to that.
In which he says to not blame the dev team and promises that they will do their best to regain our trust. Iwinski also explains what went wrong with the development process, claiming that they started with making PC version looking great and then scaling it down for consoles. It went so bad that they had to constantly upgrade the streaming systems for old-gen consoles, and also explaining that the pandemic influenced the workflow. My personal experience with Cyberpunk on launch wasn't the best. Let's start with the most important part, or at least important for me, which is optimization, and it was really fucking bad. On launch, I played the game on a computer with a 2080 Super. Despite of that, I still couldn't enable any ray tracing and was forced to use DLSS. Don't get me wrong, I didn't expect the game to run with all the effects enabled, but still I was disappointed. I also encountered graphical glitches in which I could see plants through the walls, making certain scenes hard to focus on, although that was fixed with a quick driver install. I fortunately didn't encounter plenty glitches, but still there was some that I was unfortunate to spot. But it's been 5 years, and after these years and plenty of bug fixes and cancelled multiplayer, is this game what it was meant to be? Is Cyberpunk great? And was the game overhyped shit product? Well, let's get to the point and start with the most important.
Good morning, Night City!
So before I start talking about the story of the game, what's important is its world. See, as the name of the game states, it's cyberpunk, so it's not our everyday in which you wake up and jerk off to TikTok and then drink coffee while browsing the web. Well, it is similar, but a bit more fucked and futuristic. So to start simply, let's begin with the apartment we start with, which is located in Mega Building H10. What is a mega building? It's a city within a city. Basically a huge apartment building that houses from 2,000 to 8,000 people. The lower levels are built for the poorest of Night City. They just have livable conditions and maybe a bathroom. The best living quality is provided by the highest levels. They contain penthouses with all the things a man can imagine. But let's step out of our apartment and touch some grass. Well, concrete, but that's not important. Our main character V lives on the 7th floor. As we exit our apartment, we can spot people living their life, going from one place to another. Cops arresting a criminal, and next to it, kids playing around. While going through the part where we live, we can spot vendors selling food and a couple vending machines. They sell normal stuff you would expect, food, drinks and guns. Well, the latter is maybe normal in America, but yes, for only $100 we can purchase a disposable gun. They are meant for people stuck in dangerous places, and the advertisement itself states to throw it away after a use. Moving forward, we can spot a gym where people exercise, and next to it is a gun store called Second Amendment. You can see that the game plays with the future of America. We can see that the guns are easily accessible to anyone and eat junk food from vending machines. But let's step outside, shall we? Since outside is where we're gonna spend the most time while playing the game. So since we're outside and breathing fresh air polluted by the condom factories, let's talk about the city itself. Night City is split into 8 districts, one of which is for the DLC, so let's focus on the ones in the base game and talk about Dogtown later. All the districts have their fixers, which are the people that will give us jobs, and all of them are controlled by some gangs. The district we start in is Watson. It is the poorest district in Night City, with abandoned factories and a waterfront controlled by Arasaka. Watson is controlled by a gang called Maelstrom. The philosophy of this gang is about human flesh being weak and upgrading it by using chrome. Said chrome in the cyberpunk world leads to cyberpsychosis, which we will get into later. The chrome they sport include pain editors, cyber optics, which are their weird spider-like eyes, and reflex boosters. They partition their organization with groups as small as 5 for patrolling and as big as 30 for raids and jobs. Their main revenue comes from smuggling illegal meds and drugs. It also extends to hit jobs, which they execute brutally, with some victims skinned alive and bodies dismembered. They also own a nightclub called Totentanz, which blasts neo-death metal music all night, and the rumors about them also state that they're involved with black market BDs. What are BDs? BDs, which is short for braindance, is basically a VR movie that makes you feel. To explain it in a way everyone would understand, if you would watch one about Mia Khalifa sucking your cock, you'd feel the excitement that comes from it. But let's not don't focus on that. Let's focus on the fixer for this region, which is Regina Jones. Regina is an ex-journalist who became a fixer after News 54, which is a media conglomerate, bought the radio she was working for. She will send us on gigs in which you can learn that she is indebted to Chinese officials and meet her old buddy Max, who she taught how to be a journalist. We meet Max in a rescue gig. Corporations got mad at him and put a hit on his ass. After finding him in a schizo nest, he will bitch about Regina becoming a fixer, but of course we will save him. We can later ask Regina how are things with Max, to which she responds with,
"How's things with Max?"
Not easy.
Be surprised if it were. Guess he didn't like what you've become, huh?
I didn't used to like certain things either. Still don't like them. But I learned how to swallow them.
What's he gonna do now?
Don't think even he knows that.
We can also ask her to describe Watson in one sentence, to which she replies with,
Regina, how'd you describe Watson in one sentence?
The Japanese built Kabuki, but the Chinese live there mostly. North side used to be plated in chrome, now it's covered in rust. We have an entire aquarium full of corpos, and that's no metaphor. Know what all that comes out to?
One sentence is never enough.
That's Watson.
Other things that Regina will provide us with is cyberpsycho sightings. I mentioned cyberpsychosis before, so let me explain it now. Cyberpsychosis happens due to an individual putting too much chrome in his body. Said illness makes the person crazy and attack anything and everything that moves. We do these jobs to find a cure to said illness. At the end of the day, finding a cure is better than killing these people off. Said quests will provide us with mini boss fights, with lore being scattered around the place explaining what led to it. It can be explained with go to a place, kill the boss, reach shards, send it to Regina, and get paid. That being said, let's move on to the next district, which is Westbrook. The queen of Westbrook is Wakaka Okada. That old lady who had 5 husbands and 9 sons will give us jobs in this region. And no, I'm not kidding, you can ask her about that stuff yourself.
Can't help asking. How many of those husbands did you have?
5. All went before their time. Terrible family tragedy.
Not afraid that tragedy will strike you?
Have to live somehow. For my 9 sons.
Westbrook is home to the wealthier people of Night City. To put it simply, we can find Beverly Hills of Night City there. In this part, we can encounter 2 gangs, Tiger Claws and the Mox. Let's focus on the first one now. Tiger Claws are an equivalent of Yakuza in Cyberpunk world. They started as a corpo-backed motorcycle club that grew into a criminal empire. Ironically enough, they own the most businesses out of all gangs. Apart from owning restaurants and brothels, most of their money was made through human trafficking and prostitution. Most of Wakaka's jobs will be connected to them since this gang is part of her background. Since we're done with Tiger Claws, let's focus on the Mox. Moxes are a small gang mainly made out of sex workers, punks, and sexual minorities. They're heavy on protecting their sex workers, kind of a family if you think about it. Anyways, their main source of income comes from their headquarters, which is Lizzie's bar. Other than that, this gang provides us with 2 hot chicks, Judy and Rita. Since we talked about Westbrook, let's focus on Haywood now. Haywood is seen as a district of complete contrast. We can see skyscrapers towering over our heads, and south of that we can find slums occupied by the local gang called Valentinos. They are the biggest gang in 2077 with about 6,000 members enrolled. Valentinos are mainly Mexican, but they're still welcoming to people of other backgrounds. They're centered around Chicano culture, celebrating holidays like Semana Santa, which is the holy day. The gang owned plenty of businesses that were a front to their main source of income, which included gun smuggling, robbery, hit jobs, and drug trafficking. The fixer in Haywood is, as you might have guessed, associated with said gang. Meet Sebastian Ibarra, Padre for short, a priest that became a fixer in Night City. An interesting character that will provide us with interesting quests, in one of which we get to find out that there might be another corpo war coming. Haywood checked off and left with sad news, so let's get over to Santo Domingo, which is one of the oldest districts in Night City. Due to its placement, people were able to avoid the 4th corporate war there. Plenty of people started building settlements there during said war, but by 2077 they were all gone. What was left was a testing ground for industrial projects. Corps building factories over and over again just to demolish them and build new ones in their place, even experimenting on the local population. And it didn't take much time for some people to take matter into their own hands, which created the 6th Street Gang, which is made out of corporate war veterans. Gang was mainly created to keep hoodlums at bay and give people charismatic leaders to hide behind. Their main sources of income consist of robbery, gun smuggling, and extortion. Fortunately enough, this region's fixer is one of the best, if not the best in the game. Meet Muammar El Capitan Reyes. When I look at this man, I think that he's some kind of a Scarface parody. Man has that charm but lacks the balls. If we steal enough cars for him, he will give us a quest in which he tries to save Santo Domingo from corpse experimenting on Santo Domingo's population. Genuinely, it's one of the more interesting ones, since it contains an interesting choice. You can either save his cop friend and deliver less supplies, or let him die and deliver the whole undamaged cargo. Let's get to a more interesting district, Pacifica, which was supposed to be Night City's vacation resort for the wealthiest of this planet. Due to the corporations backing out of their investment, it became an unmonitored district with two gangs fighting over it, Animals and Voodoo Boys. Let's focus on the latter for now. Voodoo Boys build their reputation on net running, basically hacking in the cyberpunk world. They only consist of people from Haiti, and they're exclusive, secretive, and don't trust outsiders, calling them Ranians.
You tell me, Ranyo.
Which is a slur reserved only for outsiders. Personally, I dislike them, but at the same time understand them. I too would grow xenophobic after listening to that shit 24/7. Animals, on the other hand, are people that fascinate with being feral, wanting to establish themselves as the dominant human subspecies. To achieve this noble goal, they go to extents of going through brutal and violent tests, taking on heavily modified opponents just to prove they're better. They focus on fighting sports to be as efficient as possible in combat. Their main moneymakers are violent raids on residential districts, illegal fighting rings, and production of steroids. They look buff and probably smell tough. Our main fixer for this place will be Mr. Hands. I won't really get into him since most of his personality stems from the Phantom Liberty DLC, but all you know from the base game is that he's really secretive. So do not worry, I will get back to him as soon as we get into the DLC. I mentioned corporations before. Their main residence is the city center. Instead of gangs, we can find plenty of corpo skyscrapers there. To not make this video any longer, let's focus on the ones that stand out the most in the middle. Arasaka and Militech, the two main organizations in the world of Cyberpunk. Of course, there's many other corpos out there, but I want to focus on the most important ones in the story. Arasaka has a really deep lore dating back to 1859, with the birth of a man that started this madness. To keep it simple, let's focus on the man that we can see in the game. Saburo Arasaka is a man who wanted to make Japan great again. So much so that he was against his son's relationship with someone that was Japanese but didn't speak the language. The corporation itself focuses on many things that include schools, hotels, security, and owning waterfronts. They also run the Relic program. The Relic is a part of Secure Your Soul advert. It allows people to live forever, but as plenty can figure out, giving yourself to corporation hands is the worst decision a man can make. Arasaka is the main corporation John Wick hates, and so should you. Now, Militech was made by an Italian man called Antonio Lucchesi. It took him 2 years to finally start running the business, and the company started with only 3 guns, and the only reason they were sold was due to the ties with the US government through another corporation. Only one of their guns was actually reliable, so I guess it was a rough start. When a war started, the choice of Militech was a bad decision due to the tropical environment of the conflict, which would make the guns clog up and lead to people's death. Due to that, Lucchesi gave his CEO role to Donald Dandy, a man with a perfect strategy for the business.
I only have one requirement. Income.
Which was so shit overpriced cause branding and political ties. Although his main focus was reaching the private market through political contracts. And from 2002, Donald stayed as the CEO. Unfortunately, we don't see much dealings with Militech throughout the game. These two corporations are even so nice that they leave the hard work to gangs. You know, killings and disappearances have to be left to the peasants. But let's talk about something else these corporations influence, which is ads. They are one of the most important things when it comes to the cyberpunk aesthetic. Ads are one of the best ways to present this word. They're over-sexualized, upfront, and fucked up. For example, take this ad of Khalil Rozou. I don't know if I pronounced it right, forgive me for that one. It's supposed to be an ad for a perfume, and instead of something about the scent, we get to see 2 men fucking. Or an ad of cocaine-like product called Mr. Whitey. It presents itself with a slogan of "Life's too short to be slow." Or what about Zig Dish ad? Point I'm making is that the world of cyberpunk is filled with over-sexualized ads that aren't scared to throw shit at your face. Too Good to Waste is honest regarding alcohol usage. You don't want to waste a drip of it. Okay, but how does a person earn their living in a cyberpunk world? Apart from becoming a fixer, corpo dweller, or a street vendor, you can become a Ripper Dog, the finest and most important profession in the cyberpunk world. Ripper Dogs are responsible for all our body modifications, whether they are cosmetic or practical, they will make it happen. And what do the practical ones consist of? Mantis blades, which are basically knives coming out of your hand, getting a double jump ability, or an ability of becoming invisible. Or maybe you don't want lung cancer. Metal lungs are here to help. Or maybe you're like me and want to become a version of John Wick. No need to worry. Install a Sandevistan which will fire up your neurons and slow down the in-game time for you to commit a mass murder. Point is, there's plenty regarding the playstyle you can choose. Whether it's stealthy or guns blazing, a Ripper Dog got you. But since we all know that our main character is a merc, we are now living through gigs. If we earn enough, we can afford a better apartment than the basic one. We can choose between 4 apartments. One in Northside, which is for brokies. Honestly, the basic one is even better. Japantown is a bit of an upgrade, but the best ones are located in Corpo Plaza and Glen. In my opinion though, Glen wins since it has a pool table and looks like a penthouse. In these apartments, we can interact with the surroundings and spend time with our partners. The only issue is that you cannot fuck them, but hey, can't have everything you want. Okay, I think I've talked enough about the world itself, the professions, corporations, all that shebang. Let's focus on traversing the city. The traversal systems are one of the most important things a game can provide. At the end of the day, that's how we spend most of our time in an open world game. Of course, there are gems like Spider-Man games in which the traversal mechanics are great, but this is not the right comparison. What we could compare Cyberpunk to is a little game called GTA 5. We all know that GTA has a decent, if not great car handling, despite of the main focus of the game being on heists and criminal activities. Well, Cyberpunk is quite similar, but it's an RPG, which is not exactly a GTA thing, but we still drive cars. Despite of it, the developers somehow managed to fuck it up. The car handling is terrible. For example, when you're driving a Porsche on a sandy road, it's impossible to straighten the car. Of course, you should use a different vehicle for sandy roads, but I don't think it's realistic for the car to go that crazy with a system that is claimed to be a realistic one by the developers themselves. Other than that, it's a hard system to figure out. I've spent hours trying to understand it and understand what's wrong with it with no results. You can have fun with it, but driving certain cars isn't the best. That being said, the car choices we have are amazing. The developers nailed the cyberpunk aesthetic with the cars themselves. We can find futuristic Lamborghinis, Chevrolets, trucks and bikes. I've spent most of my time driving Silverhand's Porsche. I also of course tried different vehicles and enjoyed driving them more than the Porsche itself. After an update, Johnny even appears in them.
You want something from me? The fuck was that supposed to be?
Oh, fuck off. Tired of hearing your voice.
And if you use cars tied to him, he will actually react. If you're interested in firepower, some of the vehicles are even weaponized, so we can start some chaos while driving around the city. What's also important for traversal system is the music we can listen to while driving or running around the city. And the game nails that part. We are supplied with plenty of radio stations which play different genres of music like rap, pop, metal, so on and so forth. CDPR was even so generous that they paid artists like Grimes or A$AP Rocky to create music specifically under a different name for extra immersion. I genuinely had fun listening to Moro Rock with all the samurai songs, or hopping over to Body Heat to listen to that one sad song.
I couldn't wait for you to come and clear the cupboard.
But let's get to the star system, since I mentioned wreaking mayhem on the streets of Night City by using your car before. What I exactly mean by saying the star system is how the cops react to us committing mass killings. The car chases are great, although not the best. I mean, it's better than what the game started with, which was a system that made it too easy to lose the cops. Back then, the AI wouldn't even dare to chase you. Now the cops will actually chase you, resulting in you sometimes having to kill them to lose the tail faster. But if you decide to commit mass murder while on a morning walk, the police will react properly. If you reach the 5th star, they will deploy max stack units. These units are meant to be used against cyber psychos that are extremely dangerous. It's great fun and challenging to fuck around and fight hordes of cops in Night City. The gunplay isn't the best, but mixed with the abilities and skill system, it's great and does its job properly. That being said, I think I've talked long enough about the mechanics and the world that the game presents itself with, and I genuinely praise this title for said things. Of course, not all of the mechanics are perfect, but that's besides the point. The world is interesting and exciting to explore due to its fucked up nature and amazing visuals the game presents itself with. With that said, let's focus on a thing that is the most important when it comes to any kind of a story game.
Vital force!
The story of the game is great, but lacking regarding choices. Plenty of them don't make any real changes when it comes to the world or affecting the story of the game. The only dialogue options that matter are the ones you choose at the end of the game. That last dialogue option, in which you pick who you're going to call, influences the ending. Set endings, different cutscenes, and influence what the characters will say while the credits are rolling. It's not as annoying, but it's also not great since the game is an RPG. Despite of these flaws, I would still consider the story somewhat great and interesting due to the characters we meet throughout it. But to understand it, let's start from the beginning, which is the first act. But before we start, let's talk about our main character that we get to create. Apart from the looks and the size of their genitals, we get to pick their life path, which gives us bonus dialogue options. So let's go over them. All of them will lead us to meeting our best friend Jackie in the first act. By starting as a nomad, you start as an ex-Bucker clan member, one of the clans that roam the outskirts of the cities, trying their best to not even go there. They hate corporations and treat each other as family no matter what. In the beginning of this path, we are in a car repair shop, ripping off our clan's logo off of our chest. After that, a corpo associated cop talks with us, and after brushing him off, we head to a tower to establish communication with Jackie, with which we will smuggle contraband. After arriving at the gates of the city, everything goes south, and we have to fight off hordes of enemies. If we repel them, V and Jackie get to open the contraband, which turns out to be an iguana. Jackie admits to having an intent of fucking us over, and the intro plays. Well, it will, but now let's focus on. The street kid path is, in my opinion, the most basic one. In this one, we start as, well, a street kid. Don't think I have to really explain what a street kid is, but for those who don't know, it's basically people raised by the streets. Our first mission is helping Pepe pay off his debt. We do that by stealing an expensive car. Unfortunately, the gig goes south since Jackie is on that car too. Other than that, the alarm rang and the police came. The corporate who owns the car wanted us dead, but fortunately, due to plot armor, we survive. But the most exceptional one is the corpo path. It starts with us already knowing Jackie, unlike the two other paths. We're nearing our expiration date when it comes to Arasaka's purpose, vomiting and coughing while Jackie calls us and says that he's worried. After exiting the bathroom, we get to our boss who just fried the European politicians. He gives us money for a job that has to be done. And by money, I mean a physical stack of moolah that we have to spend on people that will do the gig. Unfortunately, the Arasaka thugs caught onto that plan and we got fucked over in the process. All these life paths lead to the same cutscene, which I will play right now.
Hello there, Night City! Stanley here with you, and we got another day ahead of us in this city of dreams. Ooh, I love this town. Love it like you might love a mother who popped you out on the steps of an orphanage once and now stops you to ask if you got a smoke for her. Every new day here means 100 new arrivals, but only half these gonks will survive a year, and that's if it's a good one. And why do these peeps come to NC? Well, to be street samurai like Morgan, Blackhand, and Waylon Boa Boa. The greater the risk, the bigger the bounty, kids. Or so they say, but you can only be a Major League player for so long. The faster you live, the faster you burn out. If you don't get a bullet to the brain first. NC's legends. Know where you'll find most of them? The graveyard. Matters not where you're from. Matters not where you start. What matters here is the walk you walk. In Night City, the city of dreams.
The first act focuses on introducing us to the game. After choosing our life path and finishing its questline, we get presented with a cutscene that I have already shown a few seconds ago. We get our first apartment and start with the first gig that we got presented with at E3, in which we do a gig for Wakako that revolves around saving Sandra Dorset. The mission introduces us to the mechanics we will use throughout the game, but that's not important. What is interesting about it is its introduction to trauma theme. They're a corporation that lets you purchase a package of medics, saving your life when in need. Because of this interaction, we can see how they exactly work, only caring about their subscription members, pushing us back as soon as we place Sandra on a stretcher. The first act focuses plenty on explaining how stuff works in this world. To some, it might be a bad approach, preferring to have these things tucked in a document somewhere under a bed in a crack house, but I really enjoyed this approach. Seeing how Trauma Team operates firsthand was awesome. Anyways, the first act focuses on a heist we will do for Dexter Deshawn. He asks us an important question and explains we will be hitting Konpeki Plaza and stealing a chip from Arasaka. Our first objective after meeting the man himself is getting the flathead from the Maelstrom gang. Apart from being a cool introduction to the gang, it's the first quest that presents us with choices. There's few different approaches we can take towards this quest. We can go in and pay for the flathead with a Militech shard that's bugged with a virus, we can remove said virus from the money shard we were given, or we can just straight up attack the gang. In the end, it's not as big as it would be in other RPGs, but it's still decent. If we decide to go with Militech, we can fuck the Militech lady Meredith Stout. If we don't, the man she was holding hostage while giving us the shard will take her place while she miraculously disappears. Oh, and also, if we decide to save Brick, which is a side choice, we can meet him later in the game while visiting Maelstrom's nightclub during a side quest. Unfortunately, the choices we make don't affect the world that much, and most you will get a certain gang disliking you and randomly shooting your ass. The only thing these choices mostly affect is what the characters will say in the end screen, but that's still strongly affected by the ending we choose. But back to the first act. After getting the flathead, we can meet Evelyn Parker, the lady that requested the job. This mission will introduce us to the brain dances, how they work, and how we will use them as a merc in Night City. At the end of it, we can cut a deal with Evelyn to fuck over Dexter. This choice again doesn't really matter since it always ends the same. As in, you get to Konpeki Plaza, do the flathead part, get into the apartment of Yorinobu Arasaka. Oh, did I mention that you will be stealing from the son of Saburo, the main man behind Arasaka? Probably forgot that brain dance I mentioned before was of Evelyn having a good time with Yorinobu and meeting Adam Smasher.
You look like a cut of fuckable meat.
And cause of Yorinobu, this shit goes south. You see, Yorinobu has a choking fetish that he wanted to try on his father. As you can see, this didn't work quite well and Saburo died of cringe. Yorinobu, instead of admitting that he's weird, says that his father was poisoned. The whole building gets alerted and T-Bag gets a blue screen while opening a door.
I've been made.
Fortunately enough, she opened it for us so we can jump out of the building while being shot at. But due to the package with the chip getting shot, the chip gets damaged and Jackie has to slot that shit into his head to keep it working. Unfortunately, after escaping, Jackie dies and we slot that shit into our head. After that, Dexter gets pissed and fucks us over and shoots us in the head, which introduces us to...
If I need your body, I'll fucking take it. Dick.
You see, the chip we stole contained Johnny Silverhand's conscience. Because of that, V survived a bullet to the head. But also due to her quote-unquote death, the engram turned on and started working, killing V and giving their body away to Johnny. The second act will focus on saving ourselves, or basically V, and escaping death. But let's focus on Johnny right now. Due to the chip activating, we get to experience his memories. First one being his death, or basically the nuking of Arasaka Tower, the event that I praise and adore. You see, Johnny has a strong dislike towards Arasaka, so much so that he wanted to nuke one of their towers, and when the opportunity arrived, he was down to do it. All he had was a nuke and a dream. He stormed Arasaka Tower with Rogue and few others with a Demolitron laying somewhere in the chopper. Unfortunately, he decides to upload some data onto Saka's servers, which leads to him meeting Adam Smasher with a penis. After that, Johnny gets shot and gets dragged out of Arasaka's tower like Tupac to meet Saburo. Saburo yaps to him and Johnny gets transported into a chip to be a construct that we will have in our head for the rest of the game. After this amazing event, we wake up and help Takemura fight off Saka goons, to then go to Victor and be saved. After that, we get our first taste of Johnny interacting with the player.
The fuck kind of droid toy are you supposed to be?
Now, the first interaction we have with Keanu is him being like an abusive husband. Asks for cigarettes.
Need a smoke. Where'd you stash yours?
And then when he doesn't get them, starts beating the shit out of V.
I'll take control. I'll find a way. You hear me?
After that, he comes to two realizations. One, he's in V's body. Two, he will take over no matter what to smoke some ciggies. All jokes aside, Johnny is a great companion, acting as a comedic relief.
Know what? You're starting to remind me of me, 50 years back. Minus the charisma. An impressive cop.
But also as a judge and a friend throughout the game. I honestly love Johnny's character. Some would call him a terrorist, but I'd call him a man of morals. But we're not here to discuss why I don't think Johnny, in my humble opinion, is not a terrorist. We're here to talk story. So after meeting Takemura at the diner, which is one of my favorite scenes in the game because of the Johnny interaction, in which V is not used to the whole engram shit, so they will shout to Johnny and NPCs will actually react to it, which is amazing.
Zapper dumples and filth. In some ways, Night City never changes. Arasaka's still a despotic machine and the world's on a collision course with chaos. But hey, at least Rogue's still alive.
You know, you've got some nerve. First you're out to kill me,
Now you want to be my pal, make like nothing happened?
You know you don't gotta speak out loud to talk to me.
But from now on, we get few ways to save ourselves. We can go with Arasaka's way, helping Takemura track down Hanako Arasaka and get a chat with her, or do it the Johnny way through Rogue. Unfortunately, all routes end up the same, with V talking to Hanako at Embers and then heading to Victor after nearly dying. The game unfortunately doesn't shine in that regard, but it does shine in its side quests. Side quests will basically let you unlock other endings. Without them, your options are limited to Johnny or Saka. But before I start talking about the endings, let me tell you what I mean by saying that the game shines through side quests. One of my favorite quest lines is the one that leads you to one of the love interests in Cyberpunk. I'll get to the romance later, since it's not the thing that makes this quest interesting. The quest line revolves around Para's couple, who are politicians with an unusual problem that needs unusual solving. We start off by helping them with the death of Night City's mayor. After figuring that out, they will call V later and ask them for help regarding weird occurrences that have been happening to them. To keep it short, someone has been changing their memories, adjusting them to complete their personal political goals. After the whole thing, we get to choose as the player whether we want to tell Elizabeth's husband the truth or not. The only thing that unfortunately changes is the ending screen dialogue. The reason why this questline shines for me is because it shows what can happen in the world of Cyberpunk. I mean, imagine that kind of horror happening to you. There's also less dialogue dependent quests, like the one involving a talking gun. You can find Skippy in a random alley marked on the map. Skippy is a talking gun. If we kill enough people using him, he will have an existential crisis, which leads to us finding out that Regina was his owner.
User, I have an important message for you. Say anything to continue.
Anything.
It looks like you're trying to be funny. Automated response. Ha ha ha. I have never heard that one before. While running a routine diagnostic check, I discovered a file with my owner's metadata. Name, Regina Jones. User, please return me to my real owner. Thank you in advance.
The whole conscious gun thing is hilarious. Dude literally spits random facts while you kill enemies.
Contact. The vast majority of murders are committed by men.
I think it says much about the game itself. It's not just recycled shit like with Ubisoft games, it's a bunch of different and interesting things to explore. Sure, some things seem more recycled, like the gigs, in which you go inside of the building, shoot enemies and upload or steal data. The only thing that shines regarding these quests is the things you can read, so it's up to the player if they want to learn the story this way. Anyways, I think I talked about quests long enough, maybe let's talk fucking. And by fucking I mean relationships. Cyberpunk provides us with 4 possible choices, each having their own interesting storyline. Of course, these characters, apart from having interesting stories, have their preferences. So to put it bluntly, there's 2 heterosexual choices and 2 homosexual choices for each version of V. So let's start with Judy, my personal choice when it comes to choosing my love interest. We first meet Judy in the prologue of the game. I think that interaction alone made me fall in love with my waifu made out of pixels on my screen. Judy is a nerdy hoe editing brain dances. Of course, porn pays better, so she chose that line of work. After Evelyn's death post-prologue, she wants to fight the people who killed her. And just to be clear, no, it wasn't Saka, it was the pimps of Night City. If we do all she wants and play her cards right and play as Femme V, we get to bone her. Why did I choose her, you might ask, my dear viewer? Cause apart from being a nerd, she is smoking hot. That being said, let's get to another possible partner, which is Carrie Eurodyne, Johnny's best friend with whom he played in Samurai. We get to meet Carrie at the end of the game due to Johnny wanting to finish some unfinished business, and in my opinion, Carrie's arc is the best out of all the potential partners. You get to play the last Samurai gig, and due to that you get to see Maelstrom's nightclub and meet Johnny's chums. After that nice arc, he contacts us again cause he's pissed about a band doing shit with his name. Carrie thinks they have no talent and should be killed off.
Look at this. Unlistenable. That trash is their biggest hit.
And Johnny disagrees with him, but hey, he doesn't see the ghost of the past. So we bust into the building, and turns out his manager signed this deal behind his back. The Japanese band he was so against loves him, so he decides to collab anyways. The whole thing ends with you destroying the yacht that his manager gave him, and then maybe fucking him, which I disagree with. Not because it's gay, because of this line.
Hey, you cool with me sleeping with Carrie?
Yeah.
But...
Carrie used to spend all kinds of time and energy trying to get me into bed with him. A little ironic, actually, that he finally got what he wanted thanks to you.
Wow, you do know it's not always about you. That thought ever enter your mind?
Nope. That's a new one.
That being said, traumatizing Johnny might be fun, but let's get to the one we meet through Powerless Couple. River's questline is about finding his nephew who's gone missing. Throughout the whole thing, we get to know that he's no longer a cop and that his nephew has been kidnapped by a Diddy. After all that, he will invite you to his family dinner.
Who thinks me and Uncle River make a good couple?
Well, that's decided.
And ask you out while getting drunk. Well, ask you out if you're playing as a woman. River has a cool arc, and seeing how other crime works in this universe was also interesting. It was quite cool to see such hard topic in a side quest. Sure, it's not some Ready or Not style, but it's still interesting since we get into the mind of said criminal. On that note, let's get to the partner that consumed most of the game's budget, due to her, well, personality. Panam is a girl from the middle of nowhere. What do I exactly mean? Well, she's a nomad. We meet her through Rogue, and her first impression is, well, pretty bad.
I lost everything.
Let me be plain. Again. Solve your own problems. Clean up your own shit.
Go fuck yourself.
She hates Rogue for some reason, but still decides to do stuff for her. After a bit of time with her, we get to find out that she is trying to quit her clan, due to the fact that Saul, who's the current leader of the clan, does the job wrong in her humble opinion. So her questline revolves around proving that she's better than Saul, and to do that, we steal a tank, which we get to use later. Being honest, I'd say the story is great due to the tank 6 weekend experience. To be fair, I was disappointed with the romance in Cyberpunk. It's nothing like The Witcher 3, in which our choices actually mattered. If we fucked both Triss and Yen, they would notice it and punish the player by making them bitchless forever. In Cyberpunk, you can fuck both options or all 4 if you have mods without any consequences. It's kind of sad that the only romance option we get to truly know the most and how they act is Carrie, and it's probably due to him being Johnny's best friend. After updates, as I mentioned before, we got the option to hang out with our partners, which is, well, fun I guess, but still not the best. I would love to see these characters interact more with the player and their choices, but we all know that ain't gonna happen. We're stuck to picking our partner for the ending by making a phone call at the end. Since I've just went through the stuff that you can and have to do if you want more story out of the game before ending it, with that being said, let's get to the endings. The base game provides us with 4 endings, 5 with DLC, but that's for later. The saddest ending out of all the possible ones in the base game is the Arasaka ending. Genuinely the worst and the saddest ending out of all of them. Even Johnny and Misty shit on you for choosing to side with Saka.
You've changed. For the worse.
At the end of it, you capture Yorinobu and his body lands into Arasaka's hands. Said body is given to Saburo to renew his life subscription.
However, in an unexpected shift, the return of Saburo Arasaka appears to have diffused the situation between the rival megacorporations.
継続は力なり。荒坂社の基本理念です。
We also get to choose if we want to sign a contract with them and become a construct or come back to Earth. There's also a Johnny ending. During said approach, Rogue dies cause Smasher, well... The happiest ending is the Panam ending, in which Soul dies and we get to live and search for the cure with the nomads. Oh, I forgot to mention, in all the endings apart from Arasaka one, we get to choose if it's us or Johnny going back into the body. If we choose ourselves, we die in 6 months and it's up to the player to make up if V survived. Johnny being in V's body seems like a new hope for him, but at the same time another promise that was broken. Panam ending is the happiest one out of all the possible ones, especially when it comes to Judy or Panam. I have no idea how River and Carrie reacts to the whole nomad thing, but nonetheless, that's the only quote-unquote good ending. The best and in my opinion true ending is the secret one. Basically during Johnny's side quest, if you pick good options and wait during the choice part, Johnny will say fuck it and you'll raid Arasaka alone.
If I gotta die, rather fall into my grave gun in hand and on fire, and not drag anyone down with me.
Huh. You just discovered what it takes to become a legend. Grab your iron. Let's mobilize.
Welcome to Arasaka Tower.
Time to party like it's 2023.
It's the most challenging, yet the best ending. Sure, you won't end up truly happy with any of the endings, but let's remember that nothing ends good in Night City. All the endings have unique voice messages that come from the characters we met throughout the game. They leave us with a couple of last words while the credits roll. That being said, let's get to the DLC, or as CD Projekt calls it, Expansion Pack.
found out treasures are always lost. Pleasures and rage come back. I'm watching you. Be careful with your moves.
Phantom Liberty is truly a great expansion pack, as CDPR calls it. The DLC adds a new area to the map called Dogtown. We get an opportunity to visit Dogtown after completing the Pacifica Voodoo Boys arc. Said introduction to the DLC is amazing. We get a call from a woman that promises us to fix our Silverhand doses and tells us to meet her at the customs of said place. When we go there, we get to see the most interesting thing that you will encounter in this game.
Fucking what the? It's like someone shoved my head in a place.
You're gonna be okay.
This hoe can hack into the relic and silence Johnny. So instead of seeing Johnny in the intro, we will be seeing an Asian chick that will replace our crazy rocker boy. After turning Johnny off, she explains that he can still hear us but can talk back, which kind of sucks. She explains to us that she hacked into our system from a plane and that she's with the President of New United States of America, and USA for short. Songbird, cause that's her name, claims that the plane has been hacked and will crash into Dogtown. After telling us that we need to save the President, she informs V that she can cure them right now and pays the player by giving them a Militech combat software that will be installed onto our relic. Said software unlocks new skills and you don't have to worry about thinking what you put the points in, since you can unlock everything if you play the whole DLC with side content. The new skill tree improves the gameplay in some ways, although I didn't pay much attention to what I'm unlocking since I didn't have to worry about the lack of points. So after getting the new feature, we have to sneak into Dogtown illegally through some old ancient structures. If we successfully go through the passage that Songbird put us through, we get to experience a market in Dogtown. Apart from the vendors, we can meet two people responsible for the launch of the game: Marcin Iwiński and Michał Kiciński.
Ty, dokończymy później. Au! Mamy klientkę.
Jokes aside, this market is our first taste of Dogtown, and it shows and tells plenty about the location. Just through this market, we can see what the corporations left behind. The market is located inside of an abandoned stadium. Every wall has a graffiti on it, and there's plenty of trash around. You can spot people of Dogtown walking through it and buying things from the various vendors. Life in this place from a resident's perspective is horrible. The place is dirty, filled with more corruption than the basic night city. After exploring the place a bit, the intro continues. We climb up the Dogtown's wall that blocks this place from Night City, making it into a small place with its own rules. After getting to the top while talking with Songbird, we get to experience the crash of the plane. And after its crash, we have to get down and reach the location to save the President. And since we're the main character, we make it happen. After getting the President out of the plane and getting her to a safe location, Songbird weirdly disappears. Rosalind Myers, who's the President we are saving, tells us to meet a man called Reed. After that, it's locating Songbird, which leads us on a quest of finding Kurt Hansen that lives inside of Black Sapphire. Kurt is hosting a party at his place, which is a chance for us to reach Songbird. Of course, getting inside won't be that easy since it's a party that is invite only. Thankfully, we can do gigs for certain someone that will give us the plans of the building to enter without a problem. That certain someone being Mr. Hands. We even get to meet the man himself and see how professional he is, and even get to know that he has a daughter.
I see. Your father must get back to work now, okay?
Fun facts aside, the player has to complete 5 gigs from Mr. Hands to get the needed plans. Said side gigs in Dogtown are amazing. I mean shit, one of them has David Podsiadło as a character.
Looked kinda like small-town Cancun's.
If you don't know who that is, it's the man that made Let You Down for the anime and the song that plays at the end of the DLC. The whole storyline of his quest is interesting. It's about a journalist that wants to get into some old Militech place to find some intel. After getting through the death traps, we get to know that David Podsiadło was actually a Militech agent. He tells us that our client wants to fuck us over, and of course it's up to us if we shoot the agent or take his side. Or other quests in which we have to kill a guy, and if we make a deal with our target, our client will call us later, letting us know that they know we didn't complete the job. Honestly, I can talk a lot about the quests we get to experience in said expansion, but let's get back to the storyline of the DLC. After completing the gigs, we meet Alex, an old friend of Reed that doesn't like him. After arguing, she tells him that she will help us if she gets what she wants. Throughout the party, she will stay on comms and tell us everything we need. So we get into the building through an abandoned tunnels that are filled with toxic water. After that, it's just helping Reed pass through the guards that we have to snipe. The party is filled with elites of Night City. I mean shit, there's even Grimes there. Black Sapphire depicts an interesting picture of what's happening in Dogtown. Hurt lives lavishly despite of the residents living in poverty. Anyways, at the party we can meet Songbird. She looks quite different than her hologram, but that's not important. What is important is the info she tells us. She tells us about the neural matrix and that we have to steal it to cure ourselves. After the chat, we head downstairs to the casino to scan the twin netrunners to use their personalities to get into Hansen's place, where he holds the neural matrix. Before said operation of getting there, we get to learn that Songbird has her own motives. The plane wasn't crushed because of Hansen or anyone, it was crushed by her. She crushed the plane to get close to Kurt Hansen and get the neural matrix. After the whole shebang of raiding the place and learning the motives, we get to choose if we side with Songbird or Reed. If we side with Songbird, she escapes and cures herself, leaving us in Night City to find a solution to our problem. Although siding with her is harder, since she tells us that she lied to us. The neural matrix has only one use and we won't be able to use it on ourselves. Siding with Reed, on the other hand, leads to an extra ending, in which V beats the relic, but at a price. At a price of us becoming a nobody in Night City, cause we can't have implants anymore. And we all know that nobodies don't survive in this place. I mean, hell, think of how many NPCs we've killed throughout the game. V being one of them isn't good. The DLC is an amazing addition. It truly does play on nothing ever ends good in Night City. The whole Songbird and Reed choice is really tough. I mean shit, you either side with Reed and let Songbird die or get her into some chamber slaving away for an USA, which helps Reed save the world from its end since Songbird is a living weapon. If we decide to help Songbird though, she can escape her past life and live a life she could never have, since Songbird was recruited by Reed when she was really young. I genuinely enjoyed the DLC the most out of all the content. The stuff that it adds is huge and amazing. I'm truly glad that CD Projekt didn't disappoint like they did with the launch of the whole game. If you already own Cyberpunk but not the DLC, I'd highly recommend playing. That being said, Cyberpunk is truly an amazing experience with a world that is gorgeous. Sure, it won't go down in history as the most in-depth RPG ever, but I'm sure it left a crazy mark on the gaming landscape despite and because of its launch. I'm truly glad that CDPR didn't ditch the game and let it die in the shit state it was released in. As much as I like shitting on big AAA companies, I would give Cyberpunk that one, meaning the fact that they sat down and fixed every single issue. Sure, we didn't get the casino and plenty of things mentioned in the trailers, but I'm still happy with what we got. Would I recommend playing it again or buying it? Yes. For the first time, I'm glad I can say it about a game I anticipated. It's truly worth playing just to experience the cyberpunk vision that Mike Pondsmith created. The story itself is really interesting and fun. The visuals are stunning, especially on good hardware. Of course, the graphics are not the thing that makes it good, but the path tracing is truly amazing. I've revisited Cyberpunk plenty of times throughout the years, even installed mods that expanded my playthrough so I can spend more time in Night City. Cyberpunk, despite of its launch and flaws, is truly an interesting experience with interesting mechanics. That being said, thank you for watching. This project took me a while to make and I truly hope you enjoyed this video. I've put sweat, blood and tears into this project, so I'd be happy if at least few people enjoyed it.